pad slap on their own vehicles. The reason why is if your rotors are in good shape, you can get away with repadding and not replacing the rotors. This only works if your rotors are not warped. If they're warped, you have to replace everything. You don't have a choice. I will cover in just a little bit a trick and something to watch out for if you take it into a repair shop. But mechanics that work on their own cars will do a pad slap. How many pad slaps do I recommend? I only recommend one set of pad slaps ever on a set of rotors. Meaning that if you're going to do a pad slap, you put a fresh set of rotors on it, run the pads down, put one set more of pads in it when the current pads wear out. Make sure they're ceramics. You swap them out, but the next time you do those brakes, when you're doing your third set of pads, it gets new rotors. That way you always have good rotors on the vehicle. Again, we're going to cover in just a little bit why the rotors are so important that you do this at a right time. But for pad wise, that's what you can get away with. You can get away with one pad slap on one set of rotors, meaning one rotor, two sets of pads. That is what a lot of mechanics that work on their own cars will do. Let's talk about the little trick or the scam, I want to say, when it comes to taking your vehicle to a shop and what happens when it's time to do your brakes. They're going to look at your vehicle, and for liability reasons, this is what they're going to do. They're going to charge you for rotors, pads, and calipers with brackets, meaning they're going to just replace all your brakes from the hose all the way onto the wheel. Why are they doing this? Well, number one, they can sell more parts. When they sell more parts, they'll make more money. They also can charge more labor. So that's the other factor. What's the biggest issue of why they do it? Well, that part is really simple. It's safety reason. If you get a vehicle that a shop does a pad slap and all of a sudden your brakes start vibrating or your rotors don't hold tight and you get in an accident, they are on the hook for liability reasons. So in order to save themselves that liability, they flat out tell you, we're just going to replace it all. We're not even going to give you the chance to go with the cheaper option, even if all your other components are good. I don't replace calipers unless calipers have damage to them, meaning the slides are bad, the caliper's bent, it's leaking, or the seal around the plunger, the piece that pushes the pads together, if that seal around that plunger's tore, then you have to. You have to put in a new caliper. Do not replace or do the brakes if you have a situation like that, especially if it's a winter vehicle and you live in the Rust Belt. When that seal is torn, what happens is moisture and water get into that caliper. What will happen is that caliper could lock up, and when it locks up, it won't release. So this is why the shops will overcharge you guys when you take it in to do a brake job, because they're looking at it from their side liability-wise. How can they protect themselves? I know it's frustrating, but that's what they do. So we've covered pads and what's going on with them and why it's important to do what we do with the pads and how to check them. Let's go ahead and get into the rotors. So we have a couple different styles of rotors, guys. It isn't just straight up simple one way. This has different things that you can look at as far as brake performance, longevity, what you can expect for life out of the brakes, and stopping distance. This is the most important factor of why we do certain rotor styles, is for the stopping distance. If we can't stop in a certain distance, we're going to get into an accident. There's just no way around it. Well, in order to prevent that, we may do a brake upgrade. You guys have already seen part of this brake upgrade in my live videos, in my podcasts. Again, if you guys want to check that out after this video. You guys can go to my page, go under podcasts, and you'll see that video that we did the brakes. You'll see that brake upgrade, but you're going to see what I did here, and I'm going to explain it to you here. So I'll get you guys a little bit more in